I'm going to teach you about how to create your own Roblox game. Today we're going to create a simple obby. First things first, open up Roblox Studio. It should look something like this. You're going to put in your username/email and your password to your Roblox account to sign in. Just create a new place, such as the base plate. Do not use the classic base plate. Don't worry about anything fancy for now. We're focusing on the basics. After you're in, let's get started with the basic tools. So we're going to start by adding a part, and let's look at the properties panel. You should see a properties panel here, the toolbox here, and the explorer here. If you would like, you could customize this by moving these panels around. Or you can use my preferred way, which is by closing everything except the explorer and properties. Now you're going to create a new part. After you've done that, you're going to click on the part. By the way, you can use the WASD keys to fly around just like the Roblox controls. After you've clicked on it, you'll notice that the properties panels have turned to some text. The first thing we're going to look at is the appearance section. Here we have the brick color, which is basically the color of the piece, the part, and we can change this whatever we want. Next, we have the cast shadow. This is pretty obvious. It will tell you if you can cast a shadow. The rest is pretty irrelevant for now. But here, let's go down here to the data. This is where you can change your name. So let's change our name to yellow part. And we are going to change the brick color to yellow. Then we're going to move to the collision section. Here you have the can collide, which means that if a physical player or any other item in the game can collide this, or it will go straight through. I suggest keeping this on for this tutorial. This is the anchor thing. For some reason, Roblox Studio makes this default off, which is not very good. You should basically almost always turn this on, unless you're looking for physics. The way that anchor works is that if you switch to the move tool, we'll talk about these later, you can move this up, and instead of clicking play here, click the down arrow below play and hit run. You'll see that the part is flying, but when you stop it, you click on the yellow part again, you scroll down and you unanchor it and you hit run. You'll see that the part falls. So basically, anchor adds physics. Next, let's work on the move, scale, and rotate tools. So first, we have the move tool. You can use the move tool to move around parts. You can either drag the middle with using the mouse or use the blue, green, and red arrows to move it up, down, and right and left. Next, we'll look at the scale tool. The scale tool is pretty obvious. It'll let you scale the block to make it bigger or smaller. Later, we'll look at the model tab, which will let us edit these settings. Next, we're going to look at the rotate thing. So this is also really obvious. You can use these rings to rotate the object as you wish. Now for the fun part. We're going to actually start creating the thing. So to start, you're going to go up here and you will see something called a terrain editor. You can use this editor to create terrain. I suggest not doing this, and for today's purposes, we're going to go to the toolbox and look for a sky. So let's search up Obby Sky, You can create this in something like Photoshop, but for now we're just gonna use the Obby Sky virus removed. Now you may be scared when it says virus, but that's nothing to worry about. But now you can see the sky looks a little different than before. So now we're gonna go over here to the workspace in the Explorer, and you're gonna see something called base plate. This, when you click on it in the workspace, you'll see that this piece right here with the grid texture gets highlighted. So after you click this, you're going to click the delete key on your keyboard, which will remove it from the game. Now let's look at the spawn point right here. This is where you spawn. So when you run the game with your player, you're going to spawn on the spawn point, like as you see here. So we're going to make this spawn point invisible. First, you have to click the arrow next to the spawn point and delete the thing called a decal. So that will delete that texture on the top of the spawn point. Now it's just a part. So now we're gonna click on this part. We're gonna scale it. This can be our start platform for the obby. You can make this to the size of your liking. I'm gonna make it this big. After this, you can go ahead and customize the brick color. I'm going to make it red. And then maybe the material, I'm going to make it smooth plastic. Then you can come down here and make sure anchored is on. After this, we're going to start with our obstacles. So first, as I showed before, you're going to click the part button up here and you click on the move tool and use it to drag the part up and then down, and then you're going to try to align it as best as you can by kind of aligning the camera there. Now you're going to move this closer and scale this part. So the first thing we're going to do is create a little jump of lava. So we're going to change the color to something like red. And of course you can make this whatever color you want. Then we're going to match out by aligning these two sides. Now, I'm actually going to change this color to blue. So when we now we're going to add another part. This part is going to go a little after the start. And we're going to scale this down to about this size. Now we're going to scale it from one end to the other. Then we're going to go to the appearance tab and we're going to turn this to a color like bright red or really red. I'm going to go with bright red. Then you're going to change the material to something like neon, which now you'll notice that it's glowing. Now we're going to code this part finally to make it so now that you've inserted the part, you can click the part and we're going to hit the button on your keyboard, F2, to rename it to something like lava part. After renaming it, you can go ahead and click the plus button after hovering over the part and search for the object script. Then you're going to click on add. Now you should see a script. So first of all, you're going to remove the basic print hello world. So you may think coding is scary, but in reality, it's pretty easy. First things first, we're going to define a variable, which is basically something that holds data for later use. So, just to show you how variable works, we're going to create a variable called, so you're going to say local lava part, then you're going to say equals to, what do we have here? Script, which is basically referring to this script that we're writing right now, .parent. So the way that Roblox works is that there's a child-parent system. The child is an object that is connected to an object. For example, the script is the child of the lava part. Now we're referencing the parent, which if you think of it, the parent of the script is the lava part. So this is basically saying the lava part. Now we're going to create a function called die. Let's call it die. Now we're going to add something called hit. Now we're going to hit enter. So we have function die. Don't need the hit thing. So, and this function can be local, which basically means it's just for this script and not anything else. Now, inside this function, you won't do anything for now. Now down here, you're going to type lava part, which is referencing that variable, dot touched, then colon connect, then you're going to connect it to the function die. After this, you're going to go ahead and inside the function, write hit inside these parentheses. Then inside the function, you're going to say local parent equals hit.parent. Make sure the P is capital. Now you're going to write local humanoid equals dot colon find first child humanoid. You're going to go to the next line. Pasted the code. If humanoid, then humanoid.health equals 0, which is saying that the health of the player, which is a humanoid, is equal to 0, which is basically killing the player. Now after this, you're done with the script. Now you're going to go back to your game and you're going to hit play. And now if we did everything correct, oh, I forgot to anchor it. After you've anchored both the parts, hit play. Then you can try touching it and you should die. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and copy paste this by clicking on the part, then hitting Control C, then Control V. Then you're going to drag this down and then use the move tool to move it away. Now you're going to do Control D, so you instantly duplicate it again, then move it forward. Then again, and then again. And then you're going to do this as many times as you want to make a nice little first obstacle. Now, after this, you can go ahead and maybe make another obstacle. But let's say your obby wanted checkpoints. That's a little complicated, so I'm gonna create a part 2 for this if this video gets over 100 likes.